Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Friday to you. It is a Foodie Friday time, and I'm going to tell you what, with the change of the weather, we had a little rain in the forecast this weekend, maybe severe weather coming, depending on the area you're in. I say you hunker down and you make some chili. Doesn't that sound like a good idea, Zach? Yes, Zach's going to be my taster here today. Here's what I'm going to do. I am a big fan of this particular cookbook. And we'll give you some of the recipes. This is called the Karma Chow. And if you look at it, you can tell I use this a lot. In fact, I got broth all over it. Let's just be real. So this is the Karma Chow Ultimate Cookbook from Melissa Costello. You may have heard of her. She is a brilliant dietitian. She is also, at least in the past, she was the private chef to Tony Horton. You know Tony? Famed for P90X. He was with Beachbody for a long time. Now he's gone out on his own. He has incredible workout videos. And for the longest time, his body was fueled by vegan recipes, which I think is incredible. There's a lot of people who think, okay, they get into fitness, bodybuilding, and they need more protein, right? Well, where do your protein sources come from if you're vegan? I look forward to having, I think it's STL Veg Girl. She is in our immediate St. Louis, Missouri area, and she does a lot of vegan dishes. So we're going to do one today for you, but there's variations of this. So if you look up the tempeh chili recipe from Melissa Costello, you'll see that it was featured in Shape magazine back in 2013. They won't give you the full recipe. What you'll find from AI is here's variations on the recipe. So what do we need? If you have the actual cookbook, which I've made this so many times that I wanted to do some variations. So last night I cooked up this batch. This has beer in it, and you can opt out if you want to say, I don't want to tempeh. What is tempeh? It's a protein source for those that do want to eat vegan. So it's going to take on the roles of your ground turkey breast, your ground beef, etc. When it starts to cook, the aromatics of it, I think smells a little like popcorn. Zach, what'd you say it smelled like to you? Brown.
It looked like peanuts.
Looks like peanuts. Yes, it does look like a little like peanuts. But when you smell it, it smells a little bit, your kitchen's going to start smelling a little bit like popcorn. So if you're just tuning in, again, it's a Foodie Friday in our Slyman Brothers kitchen. Isn't it beautiful? We debuted this last week. Now, the appliances we actually have here are Jenn-Air. If you go into any of the locations, you can say, hey, I kind of like some of these appliances that they have in the Adventure Unknown Studios kitchen. Or you go in and say, I've heard in the past about Sub-Zero and Wolf and Cove. Yes, they've got some incredible appliances, and they've been around for 60 years. So we love them here in St. Louis. If you're just moving into the St. Louis area and you're wondering where should you get your appliances for your brand new home, I'm going to tell you to go to Slyman Brothers. Multiple locations. We miss seeing Mary Beth and the team at West County and South County, but go to the one that makes the most sense for you. And yeah, I mean, come on, have this incredible kitchen. We've got beautiful refrigerator and freezer just behind these doors that are very high end. And I just absolutely love the stove that we have here because you can operate that thing off of a cell phone. I mean, it really, all these houses and all the appliances are becoming very smart, smarter than us in the kitchen sometimes. Okay, so today, chili time. Don't you feel like it's chili time? Whatever you do, what I want to know is drop in the comments, do you put meat and beans in your chili? This recipe does call for beans. Those in Texas say, nope, no beans in our chili. Do you agree with that? I've always made chili, no matter when I was a little girl in grade school to now, always with some type of a protein source, whether again, it's ground beef. My husband puts Italian sausage as well as a breakfast sausage. He puts beer in his recipe, and this variation on Melissa Costello's tempeh recipe, this batch does have beer. And in fact, I used Bobber, which is a lager from Missouri. So we're keeping it Missouri owned. I'm going to let Zach taste that one. The one we're going to do today, though, is another variation to the true recipe. Let me just tell you, the regular recipe, it's a Smokey Tempeh Chili. So she does put regular chili powder in it. She puts the cumin, again, the ingredients you would expect, coriander, but there's also an opportunity to put chipotle if you want it to be a little smoky. The original recipe also has corn in it. So you buy just a regular bag of frozen corn. This one that we're making today is not going to have that, but that's the slight variations. Again, olive oil, red onion, garlic, My husband last night when I was making this, he's like, oh, I love the garlic, because his mom was Italian. So there was always garlic smelling in the kitchen. They use red bell peppers in the original recipe, as well as, of course, the tempeh, the chili powder, coriander, cumin, oregano, diced tomatoes. Now, when I buy the diced tomatoes, I do like to get some that are habanero based, which these do, or you can get the chili fixins one, or you can get the mild one, or you just get regular stewed tomatoes. Again, you use whatever you want to, whatever you have in the kitchen. Black beans, red kidney beans, whole white beans though also. So as I said, they're going to have 3 different variations. The true Smoky Tempeh Chili from the Karma Chow recipe has white beans in it. And then you use frozen corn, cooked brown rice, because you put all that together again on top of the rice. And then you can do some cilantro just for a garnish, and that's optional. So there's not a huge variation. What we're going to use in the one that I'm going to do for you today is green pepper instead of red, as well as onions. I use Vidalia onions, and I'm going to tell you, for those of you that always have problems when you are cooking, when you're dicing up your onions, I find that you don't cry when you have a Vidalia onion. I don't know if it's milder or what, but for those of you that are chefs, you can tell me why. No crying, no tears when I was cutting this up last night. And yes, we've come a long way, have we not? Because you remember when Mom and I started and we were chopping everything up, took a lot longer. So yes, you want to do your prep work, and then you have all this ready to go. And in a half hour, you've got chili ready to go for you and your family. We've got some minced garlic that we're going to have as well. The tempeh, as well as habanero spicy diced tomatoes. We've got black beans and we've got kidney beans today. We are going to put a little maple syrup, so that balances out the spice with a little bit of sweetness, especially if it's too hot. So I'm going to let Zach taste it. If it's too spicy, we'll put a little bit more syrup in it for you. You do have the tomato paste that you're going to use. And then we're going to play around with different spices. I'm going to try to vary from the recipe that you'll find, because if you refresh the Smoky Tempeh Chili on Google, you're continuing to get a different variation of it. Very, very similar to what she uses, but just a little bit different. Like I said, this one's not going to use beer, the one we have here. So we're going to do 2 different taste tests. Also, if you want, I got this from Penzeys Spice, by the way, in Maplewood. Shout out to Penzeys, because they have the most incredible spices. It's truly like a kid in a candy store. I actually get a lot from them. So these we're going to put on top some little jalapenos, or you can chop up some fresh jalapenos. Again, if you want it really hot, use fresh jalapenos. And I did just do a cooking class when I was in Cabo, and they said it's not the seeds where the spice comes from, it's the vein inside the pepper. Just little things for you that we are always learning. And for this one, I'm actually going to garnish it with a little avocado instead of putting in cilantro or any other garnishes. You could put a little sour cream, but if you're wanting to keep it vegan based, you'd have to have a vegan version. If you want to put cheese on it and you want to keep it vegan based, you have to put a vegan cheese. Otherwise, change it all up, use some of this, and then put, again, a regular animal protein if you want. All right? So that's the recipe. We're going to get to cooking. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to put it all together. It's going to smell amazing in here. We're going to get ready, by the way. I've got my Mizzou on. I know my husband's going to be wearing Auburn tomorrow night, 6:45, Jordan Hare Stadium. It is Mizzou against Auburn. Tigers against Tigers. Our family, for tomorrow at least, is going to be split right down the middle. He's going to be rooting for Auburn. I, of course, have to root for my alma mater. Go Mizzou. M-I-Z. Z-O-U. Time for some chili and time for some football. It's a great weekend for it. Stay inside, because again, it's going to be all rainy. Football, chili, all of that. And we've got the chili recipe for you, so don't go anywhere.
When you want to feel good, you work out at Crunch. You don't go here, because here feels bad. But here we help you feel good, feel strong, feel rejuvenated.
Join Crunch Fitness today.
Welcome back on a Foodie Friday. I am in our Slyman Brothers kitchen here at Adventure Unknown in Fenton, Missouri. This is our debut that we had a week ago. Isn't it gorgeous? If you didn't see last Friday, now you're seeing it for the first time. Just an absolutely beautiful kitchen, and we're so thrilled to have Slyman as our big sponsor for our show. Sometimes we have chefs, sometimes we have restaurant owners. So if there is a chef or a restaurant that you want us to feature, or a particular recipe, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. All right, we did all all the main prep work already. I put a little olive oil, so whatever you want to use. I do have a bold extra virgin olive oil. Some people don't like to use olive oil from a temperature, heating up standpoint. I do just from a health standpoint. I try to keep the seed oils out. I already did our prep work. So we've got some onions that I'm going to put in. Don't you love the sound of the sizzle? Onions, and again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I have Vidalia onions. Now, I'm interested to see what Zach will see, because you can see here in my Dutch oven, I already have a batch I made up last night. Just a little bit of a variation. There is some cilantro we're going to put in this one. There's also beer in this one, and they actually tell you to use a darker beer like a Negro Modelo. I used a beer from Missouri, more of a lager. So you play around with it. Use whatever you want. When Jim makes his regular chili recipe, he actually uses, I think, like a Guinness. He uses a darker beer. So I am not usually a huge fan of green peppers. I will say that. We're going to do 5 to 7 minutes here. Then we'll put in our minced garlic. So I'm going to probably say that I will prefer this recipe a little bit more. I'm going to bring up the heat just a bit. You don't want it to be piping hot, but about 5 to 7 minutes with this. Green peppers and onions, and then you're just going to have them to where they start to get a little soft. Then we're going to put the garlic in for about a minute. Then we add our tempeh. For the tempeh, by the way, you just want to start browning it. And as you're browning it, it takes probably about another 5 to 7 minutes for you. Then you start adding in this is where people like to come into the kitchen. You start adding in your seasonings, and then it gets really aromatic at that point. So I've got this one simmering for us. This one I'm going to bring up to like a medium heat for about 5 to 7 minutes. But agree with me or not, do you like green peppers? I think green peppers, when it comes to cooking, I don't know, they have a tendency to mess with my stomach. I'm not a big fan of them. So I like more of the red and yellow peppers or orange peppers. So, and I will tell you, when Jim makes his recipe, he puts all of them, green, red, orange, yellow. He has tons. And I actually say we should have a chili cook-off, shouldn't we? Jim needs to come back on the show. We did this one time, though. We made chili, a vegan version, and we didn't tell anybody it was vegan. And then we made his version. Both of them, by the way, are a little bit more on the, I will say, more on the spicy side. So if you don't like a lot of spice, then you're going to have to probably keep that down and then kind of play around with it. So for this, I am going to bring up the spice a little bit. We're using, by the way, an induction stove. If you've never used induction before, people like to use it for kind of more instantaneous. When they're boiling water, it literally will boil in a matter of, I honestly, sometimes 90 seconds or less. So I'm going to bring this up just a bit for us. Again, if you're just tuning in, Smokey Tempeh Chili. I'm getting the recipe, a variation of the recipe from Melissa Costello's book. Again, it is the Karma Chow book. She is, as I mentioned, an incredible dietitian. So I was showing Zach earlier some of my favorite recipes. Besides the Smokey Tempeh Chili, there are some Korean style tacos that have red cabbage in them that are really, really good. I want to make this breakfast dish. It's called quinoa protein brekkie bowl. So again, a lot of people wonder, where do vegans get their protein sources? Some people will use tofu. Women, I will say, you kind of have to watch that because you don't want to get too much soy, especially if you've got estrogen levels that are an issue. So I try to not do too much tofu. I like to bring in some tempeh here from time to time, but beans, I think everybody forgets, legumes are a great source for protein. So that's how they get it. But they do have to make sure that they're getting as much as they possibly can, because they're not getting it from animal protein like we do. Okay. So I mentioned earlier, though, if you don't want to do the vegan version, just change this out and I would use ground turkey breast, which I just bought. I'm actually going to use a version of this using ground turkey breast. So we're sizzling. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And again, as I mentioned last night, I already made a version just a little bit different. I'm going to say that this one's not going to be as spicy, I don't think, but Zach's going to let me know. He'll be the taste tester here. I don't think it's going to be as spicy as this version is. Why? Because there's habaneros in our diced tomatoes. And if we want, we're going to put a little jalapeno here on the top. As I mentioned earlier, Penzies, I also have chili powder that's very, very hot. So it just depends on level. Zach, how hot do you like things?
I like it pretty hot.
Hey, oh, okay. Then we're going to go all in today. We're going to put the hot version of the chili powder instead of the milder versions in this one. And then we're going to put a little jalapenos on it. And we're going to use the habanero-based tomatoes. But we can simmer it all down by using the maple syrup. And by the way, I bought pure maple syrup. So I'm not saying for you to use, hey, I'm just going to grab some syrup that I have in the house for my pancakes. I want you to use more of a high grade maple syrup. What am I putting in here? This is my garlic, which already is minced up. We're blending it with our onions and our green pepper. Once you have this, you're only going to do it for about a minute. The coloring, by the way, of the vegetables that you want, it's like a translucent color to your onions. You're just making sure that the vegetables are soft. You don't want them real crunchy. From here, we are then going to spend about another 5 to 7 minutes browning our tempeh. And then we're going to start to put the seasonings and bringing everything together. We love these shows, by the way, and I want to say thank you again. Simon Brothers started with us, it's been a few months now. We have featured some really incredible chefs. We have been thinking about some of our favorites, some of the food that we've already been able to make. Some of them have been a little bit more difficult. So I started this last Friday. Zach wants me to do it every week now on a level of 5 forks. Would you give this recipe 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 from a difficulty standpoint? I'm going to tell you this is probably a 2, right? This is one of those things that I would recommend you grab your kids and say, hey, let's get the whole family together and let's make chili. Okay, so obviously watch the knives in the kids' hands. I did actually, be honest, right there. Can you see there's a cut on my pinky because I was sharpening my knives and immediately I was like, are you kidding me? I'm already bleeding. So watch the knives with the kiddos for sure, but get them involved. Have them help you prep, have them understand, because you never know. They might become a chef, they might get into the industry, and they have to see what all goes in to that final dish. Get them involved. I love when you get into like kids cooking shows. We did one with, remember Jenny Egan's daughter? She joined me. I really want to get my godchild to come on. She's been a little shy, but I love to get the kids involved. So it's an entire family this weekend. I would say if you can, go and get your ingredients early. Otherwise, you're going to need an umbrella because you're going to be running around at the grocery store with your umbrella while you get your ingredients. So if you can, get the ingredients today and then get ready to make your chili tomorrow and Sunday. Okay, so that's all good, ready to go. We're going to grab, again, tempeh. So when you are getting tempeh, I went up to Dierberg's. I'm just going to be honest here with you. I went to the one in South County, asked if they had this. It's spelled T-E-M-P-E-H, tempeh. They didn't know what I was talking about. There was a lady in an earshot of me asking, and she goes, they don't have it. Trust me. She's like, I have tried to make recipes with it, and I can't get it here. I do know Schnucks has it, and it's in the produce area. It's more so where you find a lot of vegan-based stuff. Like if you're looking for soy-based products, things like that, that's where it should be. But to save you some time, I would highly recommend you just ask somebody, because they can go into their computer system like this gentleman did for me. So thank you to him, because he saved me time walking all over the place. And he's like, I don't carry it here, but they have it, he said, at the Dierberg's in Mackenzie Point, which is Shrewsbury. And then I think he said he has a couple on the Illinois side. But I'm going to highly encourage that Dierberg's look into it, because there are more and more people that not necessarily turn their lives into vegan, but they try to have, like me, I'm not vegan, but I do like to give my body a break from animal protein sometimes. So I'll do vegan dishes. Again, it's just kind of half and half, or you do like a quarter of the time doing vegan. So they need to carry it. Schnucks has it, and I'm sure your Whole Foods, probably your Fresh Times. I don't know if Trader Joe's does, but shout out to those that do, because again, you got a lot of people who are thinking about it, just wanting to know, is it better for them? Is it easier in their digestion? There's a lot of reasons. But my sister-in-law actually ate vegan for a while, and then she went back to eating meat, but she made sure that it was very high grade. And again, maybe going straight from the farm. So you got to think about what you're putting in your body. All right. It's very, very important. Yes, we want to eat well. We want it to taste good, but you do also want to know what your sources are. So tempeh looks like a block. It's a package about this big. It's about 8 ounces. And then they tell you can use a fork, or you just crumble it up just like you would with ground beef or ground turkey. Just crumble it up. And then again, if you want to prep ahead of time like I did, put it in your bowl, have it all ready to go. We've got everything already sourced out. So this is an 8 ounce. The onion is just a regular medium-sized onion and then a regular green pepper. We're giving you the recipe. We'll put it also in the show and in the comments. But just if you're the kind of person that's like, okay, I just want to write this stuff down, tempeh is about an 8 ounce package. And then the tomatoes, depending on the recipe, it's a 14.5 ounce can. So really, I would say you're going to use 2 cans, so 30 ounces of your tomatoes, and then about a 15 ounce can of pinto beans and a 15 ounce can of black beans in this recipe. But there is variations where sometimes I made this one actually with 28 ounces of your stewed tomatoes. So you're going to vary it a little bit. And if true cooks, you just like to taste it on your own and then add a little more, add a little less, etc. Okay, so we're letting this brown up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to add in the tomatoes. We're going to add in the beans. We're going to add in the tomato paste, the syrup, the avocado, all of that. Those are garnishes that we're going to use at the end. We are using, as you can see here, a vegetable broth. These are the differences for those that make regular chili with animal protein. You might use a beef broth. You might use a chicken broth. Again, if you're making white chicken chili. Again, we're trying to stay true to the true vegan recipe. That's why we're using a vegetable broth. So we'll put all that together for you, and then we're going to let that simmer for 30 minutes. I will tell you, the longer you let it simmer, the more it marinates together. And if you want to do like I did with this one, you make it, you put it in the refrigerator, and you let the temperature change happen. That actually changes the marination. And for those of you that love to make chili, you understand chili gets better day after day after day. Because why? It keeps to marinate together. So 2-3 days worth. If you want to make just a huge pot of it, you can have it all weekend long because it is going to be rainy all weekend long. All right, we're almost brown here. We're going to add the rest of the ingredients and we'll start simmering it up. Once again, it's a Foodie Friday in the Slyman Brothers kitchen here at Adventure Unknown. We're making chili for you and we'll be right back. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened it?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
Welcome back. I am so excited to bring you this chili recipe. Again, the weekend's not going to be the best with regards to running around outside, so I thought this was a perfect recipe for you to be in your house, watching the Mizzou-Auburn game, rooting on the Tigers. All right, whichever one. Tigers, Mizzou, Tigers for Auburn. You can't go wrong there. We are a split house this weekend since I went to Mizzou and Jim's got family that, again, is in the Birmingham area, and they root for Auburn. We're making a Smokey Tempeh Chili. I mentioned there's 3 different recipes. The original from Melissa Costello is a Smokey Tempeh Chili that actually has some corn in it. That's one variation. It has red peppers. That's another variation. And then this batch that I made last night, this one adds in red pepper, or you can use a yellow or an orange pepper, and it does have beer in it. This one does not. We have already put our green pepper, our onion, our garlic, we have our tempeh in. Now we're going to do the aromatic aspect of it. So your largest is going to be from the chili powder. I mentioned Penzeys earlier. So Penzeys has, if you've never been in Maplewood, incredible seasonings. So for your chili powder, this is going to be the most that you're going to use. The rest are all going to be in your teaspoons. This one, though, we are going to use a tablespoon of chili powder, and then we're going to use a teaspoon of everything else. Since this is spicy, I'm just going to add a half of a tablespoon right now just to see how the spice is, and then we can always add a little bit more. So a half a tablespoon I'm going to put in of Penzeys hot. It says hot chili powder instead of the regular. And then we're going to use a teaspoon of paprika. And then this is going to be just for about a minute. Then we're going to let this meld together. Also some cumin. We're going to use a teaspoon of cumin. And then if you've got chipotle season, you can use that from a little smoky standpoint. I like coriander, so I am actually going to change their recipe a bit, but that's what you do when you're a cook. You do it to what you like. So I like cumin, coriander, paprika, chili powder in my chili. So this is just for about a minute, bringing this all together. And then from there, we will add in our broth. We're using a vegetable broth. We will add in our tomatoes. Again, the ones I'm using are diced tomatoes that do have habaneros. This is going to be a lot spicier. And then we're going to use chili beans or pinto beans. And then you're going to use black beans. In the original recipe, she also incorporates white beans. How many of you, by the way, like white chicken chili? I love it. It's ooey gooey with cheese and jalapenos. So that's probably one of my favorites. So I will ask all of you that are watching this morning, do you have a favorite chili recipe? You want to drop in the recipe for us? We'd love to have it, and maybe we'll make it, or maybe I can have you come and join us on a future show. I would love that. I am a huge, can I say huge one more time? Fan of chili. I'm a big chili fan. So whether it is a vegan based or, and I know some of you guys are watching going, what? You gotta have meat in your chili. Again, this is just a version of a chili that you can make. So here we go. This is spicy. For the tomatoes, let me see. We're using, I think I told you 30 ounces. Yeah, so it's 2 14.5-ounce cans of fire roasted diced tomatoes. As I mentioned though, these have habaneros. The one I made last night is just like, you'll see, it's just the regular chili fixins. Then we've got 1 can of black beans and 1 can of your pinto beans. We're gonna put all this together. I've got the avocado that you're seeing there on the side, but that's gonna be for the end. As well, you do need broth. And so for this particular broth, we are using vegetable broth to keep it, again, true to your vegan recipe, okay? Now this is 2 cups worth. And I'd say for this, because I looked, it's about the same ingredients that I used last night. If you have a family of 4 and you don't want any leftovers, I would say that this is pretty typical for about a family of 4. We got a little bit left in here, so if I feel like I need a little bit more, then I can add the rest in. This now is what we're going to mix up for you. And again, I mentioned I like you to be interactive, so tell me if you have a favorite chili recipe, and if so, what do you put in yours? And go back to the beginning where we asked, do you add beans to your chili? This one actually does from a consistency standpoint. It is a little thicker. I think we're actually using a little bit more tomatoes than the other variation called for. But I love the smell. Is it smelling good in here, Zach? Zach was telling me at break that he thinks the tempeh smells a little bit like if you're going into a Mexican restaurant, it's like that corn tortilla smell. Or if you're making, which we just did, we went to Flora Farms in Cabo. I've got some beautiful pictures and videos from that trip. We did a cooking class and they had us make our own tortillas. They also had us make our own salsas, our own guacamole. We had fish tacos. It was an incredible time. If you have never been to Cabo and you have that on your itinerary, I would put Flora Farms on that itinerary. So if you're going to Cabo anytime soon, highly recommend Flora Farms. You might just want to eat at their restaurant, or you might do what Jim and I did, and Michelle and I did actually a year ago with her girlfriends. We did a cooking class a year ago. We made ratatouille. And then this time, Jim and I wanted to do some authentic, and they were spicy, by the way, Mexican hot. We made salsas and we made guacamole. Okay, so we've got everything marinating together now. So this recipe is going to ask you to bring it to a little bit of a boil, which I am, and then we're going to take it down to a simmer. I mentioned in the show earlier, you simmer for 30 minutes. Or the longer you can. So if you're in a little bit of a rush and you're like, all right, it's time to make dinner. It's almost time for the Mizzou-Auburn game. We're going to let it simmer for 30 minutes. Great. It'll be ready to go for you. Put a little vegan cheese on top of it maybe. Put some avocado. You want to put a little vegan sour cream. Again, if you are keeping it to the vegan recipe. Otherwise, you can always mix and match. Maybe you use tempeh as your protein source, but then you put regular cheese on. Again, folks, there is no right or wrong. You do you. We're just keeping it because I don't think in the 3 months, I don't believe that we've done a full-on vegan recipe. Have we, Zach? I don't think so.
Foodie Bites was her.
Was that all? Oh, maybe she was. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look at some of these shows, but I know that there are a lot of incredible food trucks, restaurants, brick and mortars, and then the STL Veg Girl, who I absolutely love. We used to have her on when I was at Fox. She is very big into introducing people to some incredible vegan dishes. Okay, so one more time. This recipe that we're using is just a little variation. This has the tempeh, 8 ounce. You're going to use olive oil. I used a Vidalia onion. You've got green bell pepper, and then in this one I used red. We have 4 cloves of garlic for you. Fire roasted diced tomatoes, 2 cans of that. Pinto beans, kidney beans. You use your chili powder as well as cumin. If you want to use some chipotle powder for a little smokiness, you can. Smoked paprika as well, keeping that smoky seasonings going. You can add a little bay leaf in, by the way, if you want to. I am not with this one. I'm going to leave that out. 2 cups of vegetable broth. And then we're going to add the tomato paste now. And then, as I mentioned, if you want, you can add a little, at the end, maple syrup to just balance everything out. So now we're going to get some consistency of thickness in here. And then I'm going to let this guy simmer. We're going to taste it a little bit, but we've got a batch all ready to go that has a little variation of beer. How many of you ever put beer, by the way? Do you use alcohol in your dishes? I like to cook with wines. And sometimes if you think the wine is not very good, put it in. My husband actually was saying he didn't like this particular beer, but he's like, it'll be good in the dish. All right, so we've got our last part, finger licking good, which is our tomato paste. And there we go. We're starting to thicken it up. Zach, are you ready to taste? He is. All right, this one obviously is going to need a little time to cook and simmer for about another 20, 25 minutes or so. But by the magic of television, we have a batch all ready to go. And that one's got beer in it. I'm going to add a little spice to mine, though, because I thought, I tasted it this morning. I think it needs a little bit more spice to it. But doesn't this look pretty? Again, if you use her original recipe, you're going to see a bunch of corn. You're going to see red bell pepper. It's very bright and colorful. By the way, if you do have an induction stove, I don't want to confuse this poor stove. As soon as you remove your pot, it starts to think, oh, are we done? So it started blinking at me. But as soon as you put it back on, it's right back to that temperature. So that is a difference for those of you that have never used an induction before. If you have an electric stove or a gas, it stays on. The induction, you remove it. If you walk around, it's going to turn itself off. Again, from a safety standpoint, I love that. So we're using JennAir. That's what's in our kitchen here in our Slyman Brothers kitchen at Adventure Unknown. Don't forget Slyman. They are a huge sponsor of ours, and we always want to support those that support us. All right, it's time to do a little taste test with this particular batch of Smokey Tempeh Chili. And again, if you have a recipe that you want me to feature on a future show, just let me know. Maybe it's a favorite chili recipe because we've got a lot of fall. And if they're correct, we've got a heck of a winter coming. So a lot of chili will be made in the coming months. Don't go anywhere.
Thankful to Monica for having me on the show here today. I just love having the opportunity to try and help other people. There are a lot of people in my life that were there for me in my time of need, and that was important for me today to talk to Monica about that. You know, you can get low and then work yourself back up to where you want to be, and people around you can help you do that. Surround yourself with the right people. That's what Monica tries to do here with this show. In fact, I know that's what she wants to do, is she wants people that are like-minded to help each other, to point each other in the right direction, to lift each other up, not put each other down. It was amazing for me to sit in here and talk with Monica, and hopefully it helps somebody along the way. I know that every show that she puts on is fantastic. It's worth your while to be tuning in every single day. Don't worry about some of the negativity around the world, whether it's on TV and this, that, the other. Tune in here to Monica and let her tell her story as well as her guests tell their story. There's always something that you can get from somebody else. And if you pick up just one little thing that helps you, that makes this a success. And that is why I'm here with Monica today.
Welcome back. We're in the wrap up of our Foodie Friday segment. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, making a vegan version of chili. Now, some of you might be tuning in going, what? Chili's supposed to have meat. All right, again, you do you. I do like meat-based chilies. That's what my husband makes. And then I'll make this and we will actually do a little taste test sometimes. You can really make this spicy by using fresh jalapenos. I'm not using fresh today. I'm using my jalapeno California crushed from Penzies. Zach's gonna come in and do a little taste test with us with the one that we already made from last night, which by the way, does have beer in it. So if you have kids eating or you have someone who does not drink, you do want to keep that beer out. Just let them know that. Or if they have celiac, right? You got to watch that. So make sure you're always asking people, do you have a food allergy? Zach just mentioned, and I agree with him, that I've never put avocado in my chili before, but that's one of the garnishes that they talk about, that you can use avocado, you can use vegan-based sour cream, you can use vegan-based chili, and you can also put, if he wants some, you can put a little cilantro. All right, ready to come on in? Do you want an avocado in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's try it.
By the way, we learned this when I was in Cabo. So when you do your, there's Zach, by the way. Yeah, I'm on the show. When you cut your avocado, just cut around and then turn your avocado, open it up, and in order to get the seed out quickly, they said, just do this, pull it out.
I try that, but I always
Didn't work?
up, yeah, it either
It worked
slips
for us.
off or no, you do. Yeah.
It worked for
Probably
us on
helps if
TV.
you use a sharp knife too.
Yeah, exactly. So we just got these knives since we are just debuting our kitchen. So love, love, love avocado. Watch your fingers, as I mentioned. So 1 or 2 pieces.
We'll do 2.
2?
I usually
Okay.
load up on the sour cream, so
okay,
if this
so-
is the equivalent then.
Yep, this would be what you would use for the top of it. So we've got a little avocado just for a little garnish. So I want you to taste it, but this is what you now do. Taste, stay in the kitchen, and then add what you want to add in. If he wants, do you like cilantro?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you taste first before we put that. We also have some oregano we can put in, but to kill the spice, which I would say is more so gonna be in this guy, which we're simmering for about another 15, 20 minutes, you would use a little maple syrup. Okay, so this is one of the variations that you would find if you Google Smokey Tempeh Chili from Melissa Costello. It's got beer in it.
Yeah.
You taste the beer? It's Bobber, by the way. It's a Missouri lager.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, now
there
do you
it
want a
is.
little spicier?
Yeah.
So now you can make it as spicy as you want. So here's some jalapenos.
I had a little
Cilantro?
Paprika, actually.
You want a little more paprika?
Paprika.
All right, so I don't have the top on it, so you just got to sprinkle it in. We made this one last night, and it marinated a little bit for you. Again, this is where you can start adding a little pepper, a little salt and pepper. There is salt and pepper in it already. There's paprika in it already. There's cumin in it already. There's coriander. There's chili powder, but as I mentioned last night, which is this batch, I did not use the spicy chili powder. I just used a more of a mild version. So you're putting a little what? Oregano?
Oregano.
Yep, a little
I tried
oregano.
some more of the
Jalapenos?
jalapenos.
I leave this out and leave it on the counter because I know a lot of people hate cilantro. I personally love cilantro, but you have to like it. I think it's one of those things that you either love it or you hate it.
Wasn't that the thing where some people it tastes like soap? There's like a gene and cilantro tastes like soap or something.
If it tastes like soap to you, yeah, then you have the gene, I guess. Now again, we're putting a little avocado. I've never put avocado in a chili before,
Yeah.
but we'll see how it works. Folks, vegan tempeh chili. Again, Melissa Costello, love you. Thank you for the dish. As a difficulty factor, I gave it 2 forks.
I think so.
Cheers.
Yeah, it was just
It's simple.
putting stuff in a bowl.
Yeah,
and
you do have to do a lot of the prep work,
all the
obviously.
cutting and dicing, sure.
Oh, I love the smell of chili. See, I like spice, so I'm gonna spark. Oh, it is good though. Now, okay, it's definitely different than what I tasted last night because it marinated overnight.
Yeah, it's really.
So we're gonna add a little jalapenos in. Now, this dish behind me is gonna be spicy. I don't think we're gonna be adding much. In fact, we're gonna try to probably subtract because I've got habaneros in it. We've got the fire roasted habaneros, by the way. And then again, this is what's going to kill some of the spice using a little maple syrup. So Zach just said this and I would love it. His mom makes a white chicken chili. Ooey gooey cheese on top.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah. She is a teacher. Where does she teach?
She's a math teacher over at Lewis Clark Community College. So
So we can't get her to cook during the day with us.
during the school day. But it was nice having a math teacher in the house growing up because any homework problems or nothing, I just went to her. So
There we go. Now I got a little kick to it. Oh, got a big kick because I had a lot of jalapenos. So I like the smokiness.
yeah,
That is what she makes with this. And again, would you know that I didn't have meat in there?
probably not. Yeah, no.
See? Don't tell people that have an aversion to trying something vegan. They would look at this and just think, oh, is that turkey breast? And you say yes.
Smile and nod. And
Yes, exactly. I will say when I made this for Jim, the original version that's got corn in it and everything, he's like, all right, I'll try it. And he said, wow, that's really, really good. So sometimes you just need to introduce, let them taste it, then say, by the way, that was vegan.
yeah.
All right, that's how you get them to do it. So we've got a couple of variations here. That's the one I made last night with the beer in it. I can taste that lager. We're gonna let Zach taste this one, and then I'll let you know what he thought. But that's the magic of prepping a day in advance, that you've got something ready to go already. Again, folks, if you've got a recipe, you've got a restaurant, you got a chef that you would like us to feature, let us know. Next week, Annie Gunn's. Chef Lou Rook. Woo! They have some of the best food in our area. So if you're coming into St. Louis, go to the Chesterfield Valley. They've been around for a long, long time, and they know how to cook some food. So Chef Lou Rook will be joining us on a Foodie Friday. That is next week. Thank you all so much. Again, we'll get you that recipe, and then let us know if you have a recipe that you have for chili, because we'd like to make your version as well. Again, we have more of The Real Monica Adams Show to come.